If I was in a completely sober state, I feel like I would have been in a great place. I could have just went up to him and been like, hey, how are you?
No.
Something normal.
Nope, never go up to your ex, because it's never going to be normal. They're going to throw some sort of a fucking wrench in the situation, and you're going to be like, you know what? I could have just not. If they come up to you, that's out of your control, but don't invite the vampire into your house. It's foolish.
Welcome to Spinsters, a podcast where there is now only one spinster because Jordan Liggins is now Jordan Robinson. She got married. It was beautiful. Everyone cried. I cried. She cried. Fred cried. And Jordan is on her honeymoon. She's on a extended vacation. She deserves it. They deserve it. And today we have Katie Nolan. Katie, I forgot.
Am I technically a spinster?
Yeah. Well, you have a boyfriend.
It's unmarried, right? Are you allowed to? It's just unmarried, and I'm incredibly unmarried. So cool. I can be a spinster.
You're a spinster. Yeah. Welcome.
Sick.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to have it like
a
Katie
title?
Nolan is
Katie Nolan, a person who works in sports TV in various capacities. Currently, 0 capacities, but probably working on at least 2 future capacities.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that good? I think that's nice and succinct.
That's good. It sounds like you have a lot of things in motion. Yeah, which is
really got those wheels rolling. Actually, I'm just trying to enjoy not working for as long as I possibly can.
I don't blame
because
you.
that's what I think life is all about.
That is truly what life is all about. Yeah. Yes, I completely agree. Okay, and when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about your time doing, would you call it color commentary? Did you have a special delegation?
This was a weekly thing of trying to figure out what to call it. They called me an analyst in the press release, and we were like, no, that's probably not it. I've been saying in the booth for Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus.
Perfect. All right, we'll be right back.
Wait, do we have to talk about basketball? What are we going to talk about? Because I haven't paid attention to any sport except baseball.
Yeah, no, I figured, no, we're not going to talk about basketball.
Sick.
At first, I thought maybe we could go through the off-season moves and just say them in like layman's terms, just to, for
you
Patrick
can teach
Beverly
them.
and Russ.
You can tell them to me. You can tell me what has happened.
To be honest with you, I don't really have a grasp either. I've been gallivanting. I've been living my life.
I know you have been, and I've been like double tapping it. A lot.
It's been really fun. I've been having a really good time.
You have cute friends. I don't think I have cute friends. I need cuter friends. I don't have friends. It's not an insult to their looks. It's that they don't exist, you know? You got a big group of cute friends.
So remember a minute ago when you thought that I was saying that I was forced? Yeah, now you're saying that you don't have friends.
I don't.
And I thought we were friends.
Right. So I must have missed my invite to Belize or wherever the fuck you were, because I didn't get one and I ain't doing shit. So.
Well, you are doing baseball stuff.
Not anymore. I'm done.
We were thinking about, we could talk about that because it's got to be different being in the booth.
Oh my God. I could talk about strictly that for 6 hours without ever
I want to know what exactly
baseball
is different. And you've done broadcast stuff before, but it has to be different. Understanding that in that moment, like you are live and none of the intrusive thoughts can come out whatsoever. But you also have to be actively, you can't just be saying, okay, keep it together, Katie, whatever, but you've got 2 other people you need to play off of. So
and a game that's happening that you have to pay attention to.
And a game that you actually need to pay attention to.
You are secondary, but you're the 3rd tier of the secondary part of the game. It's very difficult to do. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I want to. Well, so you did, what would you call it? Color commentary?
Have we started? This is starting now?
Yeah, we started when I told you that your edibles made me see my ex-boyfriend and not be able to say words to him.
Okay, we're on a podcast now. Let me get my podcast brain. I was answering you like regular me, giving you very boring answers. What did you ask? No, I can't.
What it's like, basically. How do you juggle it? Because I have always had this thing with live anything where I just do not think that I would do a good job at it. I don't have a good job, I think, being able to juggle the fact that there is pressure and I'm going to be able to handle it while actively paying attention to something else.
I feel like live weirdly isn't my isn't bad for me. It's not the thing about it that freaks me out because I look back now at where I started TV on a daily hour-long live television show. And I'm like, how the hell did I not panic every minute of every day? But I think like being thrown into the fire like that made live. I prefer live because then you don't have to think about it. You do it, it's done. And whatever they can fix. And whatever they can't, it already happened. But what was hard about the booth, I mean, a million things. I've never been that close to a game, so it's never been like me directly touching the sport. I'm usually not only in a studio, but I'm in a studio discussing the third level of things. So there's like the what happened, the people who tell you what happened. There's the people who tell you like why it happened. And then there's the people who talk about like what it means that it happened. And I'm that. So I'm usually very far away from the game. And in this, it was like you're talking while it's happening. So there was also the layer of like, okay, what can I get away with here? Because it's very different. The rules are very different. What you can get away with in the studio, I think I've finally gotten a pretty good read of where I can push it and where I can't. But in a game, it's very different. Mm-hmm. So there were like plenty of jokes that pop into my head that look like intrusive thoughts that I'm like, normally I would just say them. And I would just, something in my head would be like, don't, because this could be the time that you get in trouble. And if you get in trouble, then this is like damaging relationships. And it just felt like there was more riding on it than there ever was in anything I did before. And I let that, I think a big part of what I do is based on me being comfortable. And I think it was so hard to physically get comfortable in a booth with 3 people. I mean, we don't talk enough about how small those booths are, and we can talk about that if you'd like to, but stadium to stadium, sometimes it was like, what? There wasn't room for us all to have laptops. So I was like, cool, I guess I just don't have my laptop for this game. But also it was just hard to get like metaphysically comfortable of like, this is where I am. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm allowed to be here, and I'm supposed to just be comfortable. The ADD made it difficult because you're watching a game happen and you're trying to listen to the 2 people that you're sitting with and you're trying to think of what interesting thing you're going to add to the conversation. And then the 15th layer of it being difficult is that like I met the dudes I broadcasted with and Heidi Watney, who was on the field for us, the day that we did our first game.
Oh, and shit.
Wow. So it was like we met the day before. We like fake called 3 innings of an Angels game. And then they were like, we have to get out of here because they have to load in whatever. So we were like, okay, we did 3 innings. And in those 3 innings, I was just me being like, oh, that's crazy. What happened there? What's this? Like asking stupid questions, being silly. And then going into the game, they were like, let's focus more on the game. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, okay. But then that's not me. That's not what I do. Mm-hmm. And I think the like gravitational pull of a job like that to do it the way it's always been done, I underestimated that. I underestimated once I was in the booth how much I would feel like, okay, trying to reinvent the wheel isn't working. Just do it the way everyone else has already done it. Which, you know, I don't think is my best recipe for success. I think that like trying to do things in whatever weird way I do them is the thing that has gotten me to here. So it was really hard to fight against this like gravitational pull of like, no, say a stat, talk about a number, and then, you know, move on and don't be funny or goofy or like oh God. Do you know how hard it is to not be like, whoa, when something cool happens? Like, I did not realize how often. I think the first game, we made it a running joke how often I went, wow, for just no reason. Because really, I hadn't seen a live baseball game in a very long time. But it was an awesome job. It was an awesome experience. I just want to make sure I say that every time I answer a question, because I can tell you about how much of it was difficult. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm still glad I did it. I don't know if I would do it again. I'm still glad I did it. I think I learned a lot. I think I met a lot of really cool people. And I got to see a bunch of stadiums I'd never been to before on somebody else's dime. So, I mean, what? I wouldn't complain about that.
Well, your original directive and the point of bringing someone like you in was to change up the way that baseball games are commented on. And so then I'm right in saying that.
Yeah, I think that
right?
the pitch that sold me, because at first when they approached me with the job, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why me? I think you have the wrong person. But the pitch that sold me is they were like, look, we're not going to make games any shorter. Baseball's been struggling with that for years. Everyone complains that the games are too long. But then on the flip side, you see people listening to 3-hour-long podcasts or watching 3-hour-long YouTube videos. So it's like, we do have the attention span to sit with something for 3 hours. Maybe it's just that there isn't enough happening when nothing's happening on the field. So they sort of saw it as like marrying a podcast to a baseball game. And to me, I was like, oh, well, all my podcasts, I kept trying to make them short. They were always 2-3 hours long. So I was like, this, perfect. I can keep an interesting conversation going for 3 hours. That's what I love to do more than anything. I think once we got into the first game, baseball has very specific pacing. There's like, you lay out of the booth so that the play-by-play guy can call after every pitch. I think when it comes to trying to maintain a podcast and a conversation, you would have to modify that a little bit. And I think that the reaction to changing the pacing in that first game was pretty strong from fans. And I'm talking about fans of the two teams that we were covering that week. They were pretty strongly like, we don't like this, which I think going into anything where you're going to be different, you have to know that coming out of the gate, you're going to be faced with that. But I think that a very common response I've seen throughout my career with shows like Crowd Goes Wild, we did something really different. The first week they panicked and they were like, all right, stick to sports. Only talk about sports. They don't like it and we've gotta. And I remember then being like, but I'm not qualified to be here if that's what we're doing. I've never done that. I was here to be social media funny. And so now you're telling me I have to be a sports analyst? And you modify what you're doing. With this, it was like that first game, I think they were like, let's pull back. And then because it was an Apple product, but executed by an MLB Network staff, I don't think there was ever a moment where we were like, okay, let's get back to that thing we said we were going to do.
Right.
It sort of just was like, okay, people don't seem to be as mad. We can keep doing it this way. It was hard for me because I was like, this is my first time doing anything like this. Trying to learn how to do it while also change the way that it's done. And also feeling like if I try to change the way it's done, it's going to be met with that I'm kind of out on my own, right? Like the guys that I was with could be a traditional broadcast with a little bit of difference. I couldn't default to my regular because I had never done this before. So do I think we did it? Yeah. I mean, I think by nature of me being there, it was certainly different. Do I think we got it different by the end? There were a couple games where I was like, that was a good game. I would be entertained listening to that game. And there were other games where I was like, golly, I'm not checking my Twitter for 2 weeks. But I just think that something I needed to get used to in my career is being comfortable with like not being really good in front of a bunch of people. And I did that a lot. So I think no matter what good came of it, I think that we could have gotten better. I think we could have done more. But, everyone's going to have their opinion on what it should be. And I don't know if they're happy with we haven't had like our big post-season meetup yet to discuss, but I think we tried.
Well, it's interesting as well because there's the obstacle of trying in the sport with the most curmudgeon-y reputation, and the older the institution, the more difficult it is to change. There's a reason that when the NBA is toying with shortening the time on the clock after an offensive rebound, that it happens first in G League and in games that are kind of meaningless. Like experimentation is difficult when something is considered more sacred, and baseball is, I don't want to say look at the fan base because but it's literally the national pastime. I will say it's the first time I've watched a game non-playoffs in I don't know how many years. And you could say that it's just because I wanted to hear you, but I did it multiple times. So
you did?
Yeah, of course.
Stop it.
But it's just for someone like me, if the goal is bring in new people, that kind of thing has to be done because I need a little bit more.
There's a lot of games. There's a lot. Like that's my main takeaway from this season is like, my God, did they play a lot of games. And the travel, I was only doing it once a week, but I was the West Coast crew and I live in Jersey. So it was every week flying across the country and then flying back. I was just like, man, I underestimated how difficult this is. And I know people will be like, well, the athletes fly charter and blah, 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 blah. Still. And in some sports like WNBA, do they charter yet flights for WNBA?
No.
Jeez Louise.
In fact,
the
it's
thought of that
prohibited.
it's crazy. The
Yeah.
thought of flying commercial to do that job, I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, especially if you're like 2 times how tall you are now. Like that's you know what I mean?
That's true. That is so true. God.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What did you learn about having to travel a lot? Like
Oh my God.
The elf products, did those last you?
I have them right next to me in my little pouch. They did. They
They're the
lasted.
best.
Every week, the only thing I swapped out was like, okay, this week I'm going to try bringing these facial care products. I only swapped out my liquids. I have a ton of travel size stuff now that I never would have had before. I learned how to pack my bag so that all I would have to do is take the dirty clothes out and put new clothes in and zip it back up. Like I didn't do my hair or makeup the week leading up to it. I just left all my hair stuff and makeup stuff in my suitcase. So shout out to my boyfriend for dealing with that. But I also learned I should probably get TSA pre-check. But I have Clear, and that kind of rules. Sometimes it feels bad that you just see this big long line and they escort you to the front of it. But at the same time, you're like, whew, I would have missed my flight if it were not for that.
Yeah. Is there a difference between Clear and pre-check?
Clear, you still have to take the stuff out of your bag. Like it doesn't help you at all through security, but it cuts you to the front of the line of security. So you're like cleared. You don't have to wait.
Oh,
Don't know how
I
it
get
works.
All right.
But I never have to show my ID. They just scan my eyes, which I know some people are like, oh no, the government has my. I'm like, they have it. They have it anyway. So I might as well benefit from them having it.
They do have it. Yeah.
Clear? Clear, you really feel like you are breaking the law.
Yeah, Clear. I feel like I should turn and go sorry to every single person.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I think I used those because they were mostly 6-hour flights. I would just do work. Ooh, if there was no Wi-Fi, oh my God, talk about. I know I hate this phrase now, first world problems, but I would get so mad about like I'd have to check myself on the plane. Like, lady, you are floating through the sky. It's crazy to think that you could have had internet connectivity. The fact that you don't and you're mad is wild.
It's crazy to think you're even up here.
Right? So I would plan. Once that happened 1 week, I started planning. Like I would print out the things I would need and have them with me. I was like, do not depend on the internet. But boy, I still got mad when there wasn't.
Yeah,
any
because
internet.
I've never had good plane Wi-Fi. I think
pretty-
ever.
I've had it. It's more decent now than it was before, I think. But that could be because I was flying mostly on flights where people would sleep. Because I would take like night flights.
Whoa.
Let's say there's no Wi-Fi, and it's also a flight that doesn't have a TV. And you didn't know this. You didn't prepare going in. What are you doing on that flight? This question's for everyone.
Okay, I'll give my forward-facing answer. So if I were a person who told lies or just presented my aspirational self, I'd read. I'd be reading. I have my Kindle with me. It's usually charged. This is aspirational, so yes, it's charged, and I'd read a couple books probably.
A couple,
real life,
a few, a whole series.
Real life, I'm playing Spider Solitaire on my phone, and then realizing 2 hours passed, and then switching to like New York Times crossword and doing a bunch of those from the archive, and then realizing 2 other hours have passed, and then like feeling bad about it, but not.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
That's mostly it.
I am a plain reader only if the book is good. Now, if this is a book that I'm even slightly out on, I can't do it. I'm suffering. And so I have this game on my phone
What
that
is it?
I'll play. I don't know what it's called. I just call it the Dots.
Is it called Dots? Because I've played Dots. It used to be called Two Dots.
It's called Two Dots. Two
Yeah.
Dots. Two Dots.
I fuck with Two Dots.
It's the only game I've ever played. I've never played like video games,
that's
nothing.
so sweet. Oh,
I
you're
just
young.
played Two Dots,
Yeah.
and I'm on level
Oh.
like 7,000.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, wait. Now I need to know what level I'm on while everybody else answers.
Hang on,
this
let me pull
question.
up the actual
I'm
level.
on. I'm like looking for my phone. I'm on my fucking phone.
I'll tell you a level I'm on when you tell me. Harry and Sierra, what are you guys doing if there's no Wi-Fi or a screen? Have you pre-downloaded? Because now I pre-download after having one
We did that. We did that when you were getting on a flight. I remember.
Yeah, I did. Oh, you remembered. What was I watching then?
I think it was
I don't know, but when I
think
was going through Europe and I couldn't read on the flights, like if that was a possibility or whatever, I was watching Justified. Fucking love that show. I watched all of Justified in Europe, and it's a show about Kentucky, so that was pretty funny. Contrast. I'm on level 593 on dots.
Oh, I'm 2624.
Haley, I'm re-downloading it.
593 and you're on 2,000.
2624.
Oh my God.
Guys, I haven't had a job. What do you think? There's days where all the depression lets me do.
God, I
is
was
this with my
so
fingers.
impressed with
I know.
myself. This
I
is my
know.
only game, too.
I know. It's so sad.
Are there unlimited levels?
I think
I mean,
so. At one point, so I started playing this years ago, and I got to a point where I got to where the levels were, and they were like, "We'll be back soon," and it was like, "Oh shoot!" So then I stopped playing it, and then I recently re-downloaded it.
I'm at the point now where they've added in the. So Harry, every couple, you get to like 50 levels, and then they're like, "You need a new challenge." How about now? There's fire or something, and. I just got to the one where they're like, hey, now there's ladybugs and they eat your dots.
Those are good.
And
you learn to love them.
I hate them right now. I feel like they've ruined the integrity of 2 dots. I hate what they stand for. I don't even understand. I can't grasp
But they
like
explode.
I'm not into them.
What's
it's
the
really
goal of the game? Is to connect some dots?
If you can make squares, the ideal is you make squares, and if you make a square of like green dots, all the greens disappear.
Oh.
And if you make a square of pink, all the pinks disappear. But you can also just connect like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can just eliminate a bunch of dots. The goal is to they give you a different goal at the beginning of each level, where they're like, this one you've got to get 6 meteors down to the bottom.
Right.
yeah.
So
Meteors. That's such
you
a
have
good
those
name
yet?
for those things. I called those empty cheeses.
Empty cheeses.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
empty cheese. That doesn't even make. All right.
Because in my mind, I was like, look at this moldy cheese they put here. I genuinely thought it was cheese.
All right. You guys didn't answer what you would do on a plane if there's no
what would you
Wi-Fi.
So I'm approaching flying, I think, differently than you both, which is like I'm doing everything in my power to not exist on the flight. You know, like if I could, just blink and be in the next place, I would do.
I think we all agree that would be the ideal.
No, but maybe what I'm saying is I would cut my arm off to be able to do that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I'm immediately trying to sedate myself with pharmaceuticals, and then once that happens, I'm also doing a kind of it's sort of reverse sensory deprivation. It's a little bit of a sensory overload where I'm throwing a podcast in. I've got the TV on with some random sports game, and then I've got a Nintendo Switch in my hand. And I'm like, maybe
That's
I mean
too
like sort of
much.
inducing a disassociation for kind of like a again, like I'm not there sort of. Right. And so I'm
This
prepared.
is dark.
Well, no, I don't necessarily, I don't
What's
do it.
What's on the Switch? Mario Kart?
Sometimes Mario Kart. My goal is a kind of like serenity, right? Like that nothing is actually happening on any of them, and I don't remember any sort of individual element.
That's the point of dots.
Right? Yeah.
That is the point of dots. Yeah.
It's just to shut your brain off.
So yeah, I'm ripping maybe some Mario Kart, maybe but so once I get to eventually I relax and then I get sort of bored of all those things. But the thing at the bottom of my bag, like once I get really bored of everything, is I'll just look at pictures on some random date. No Wi-Fi. I'm like, damn, dude, June 2018.
I kinda like that.
That was crazy,
At the bottom, the absolute last thing that you will do out of boredom if you can't sleep is go through your phone and delete pictures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the last thing. You'll
Where you're like, I have just so many screenshots. Why do I have these?
Yeah. Just like things you've
Receipts,
needed to have screenshots. Yeah,
things that you were like, oh, don't forget to say this on TV, and then you never looked at it again, and you forgot to say it on TV. Yeah.
reading old like notes. Like I'll look at
I
like
can't.
a
Cleaning them out.
Yeah,
Yeah. I have a lot of my notes locked now. Did you guys know you could do that? And there's
No.
nothing
From you?
that needs to be locked. Just sheer embarrassment at the fact that this
I
was
need
a
to
list
do that.
I made.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
all
mine
of them
should
are
all be
locked.
locked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I'm gonna
And
do
it'll
that
just
today.
it'll be like a to-do list that I have to do, and I'm just like, if somebody ever broke into my shit, this is mortifying.
Dude,
that
even
when
I write a list of like things I need at CVS, if one of those things is marginally could be deemed embarrassing by anyone, I use a code word, which is insane.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking in my phone, but I'm not gonna write what
what?
it is because I don't want when I get murdered someone to be like, "Ooh, it says here that she needed to pick up her antidepressants. She was on antidepressants."
What do you call your antidepressants?
Happies. It's just it's straight to the point.
What do you? So what else is embarrassing? Like toilet paper would be like TP.
No,
because
like
everyone knows.
toilet paper is not embarrassing. Why would I say it if it was embarrassing? Think of anything that when you have to buy it at the store, you're like, I just hope I don't make eye contact with this person. This isn't a problem I have often. It's just something I need to take care of right now. That's sort of a situation. But I make everything in code in my notes because I don't want it used. I watch too much Dateline.
I try to make it pretty clear when I'm buying all my heartburn stuff that it's like because I have heartburn and not because something's gone more wrong. If you know what I mean.
It be? It's.
I'm just like, oh God, I've got terrible heartburn. Because with heartburn medication, it's either like you have really bad heartburn and you're afflicted, or it's like you've been on the toilet for 15
you haven't
hours
left the
straight.
toilet for. It's like
Yeah.
no, I'm pre, not post.
I'm like, no, I'm
being
pre. Yeah,
proactive. Yeah.
I'm different. Yeah, exactly. With tampons, I make direct eye contact with everybody.
Oh yeah, tampons. I'm past the point of.
I
being
really
embarrassed. I'll
want,
write
especially the
tampon.
guys working in the store. I'm like,
Do you see how much these cost?
Yeah,
Do you see
I'm
how much
making
I
eye
have to
contact.
spend on something I absolutely need every month? And if I
Yeah.
don't buy them, I'll be mocked relentlessly because it will
Yeah.
be obvious because I'll have ruined all my. It's just like,
you think
Yeah.
I can afford them because this shit happens whether I want it to or not.
right?
Um,
Imagine if you could opt out. Ooh, boy, would I.
Yeah,
I guess
with
you can now. Anyway, we don't
yeah,
have
I
to
mean,
do this.
sometimes, sort
Yeah,
of.
no.
I don't want that thing up there all the time.
Me neither.
I saw this TikTok the other day that this guy was like talking to his girlfriend and she secretly recorded him. And they were talking about the NuvaRing, the birth control that rests up always in your cervix or something. I don't know. I don't have one. The thought of it terrifies me. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that was birth control. I thought that was like a hairband. And she
I'm
was
sorry?
like, why would I have a hairband up there? And he said, I thought you just put it there in case you'd need it later.
What? It's not a purse.
No.
Yeah. And that
It's
is
not
why
a pocket.
And he was serious?
He couldn't.
Yeah,
have
he was
been.
serious.
couldn't have
Or
been.
or it falls into the category of TikTok where that I can't decipher.
I'm getting
half
sick
the
of
time.
that. I'm getting annoyed by that. At this
Have
point.
they? Is this initiated behind my back, or is this a spur of the moment? Am
Yeah.
I let
You
in
can kinda-
on
you can
something
tell.
beautiful that's
You
happened?
can tell sometimes if
Most
it's
of the
too
time you can
perfect.
have
You're
it.
like,
When the guy
Yeah.
walks in and the girl's dressed really cute and he's like, oh my God, you look amazing. Now I'm so cynical as to think that they've organized this for likes.
know. Sometimes
They
you just
know
have
that
to,
they can
you just
play
have to
on the
ignore
male
it.
affection.
Sometimes you just have to be like, give it a like, scroll away. It made me happy. I don't need to further question. But I'm deep in some weird TikToks now because I don't have a
What's
job.
your
so-
TikTok look like?
I just I've drama. I've attracted drama TikTok, and I'm talking drama from any community, whether I'm aware of the community or not. So it'll all of a sudden present me like chapter 6 of a drama that I then have to be like, okay, so who's Emily and who's Jessica, and okay, so they're from oh my God, what's the weird TikTok where they think that they're going to Harry Potterville?
Oh,
They're not dreaming, they're not lucid dreaming, but they shift. They're
astral-
shifter. It's
they're
shift talk.
shifting.
So they're reality shifting into I mean, dude, I have gone so deep on shift talk.
Shift talk?
they spend
Yeah.
years mentally
They
at
like
Hogwarts.
write down. They have to script what their world is going to be when they get to Hogwarts. They have to read it before they go to bed, and then they do these different things to try to get their consciousness transferred to. And then they do, and I don't know if they're telling the truth or not, but they get so mad at each other, accusing each other of lying about shifting, and I'm like, you're probably all lying about shifting.
Yeah, I like hearing about this stuff because it makes me feel not as bad about like my own stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
why I'm spending all my time on TikTok, because I'm like, these are regular people, and they're all are fascinated by stuff that I would never have known about. in my whole life
Yeah.
if it weren't for this app. But man,
Are
I
you
love drama.
are you up to date on the lesbian TikTok drama? Young lesbian TikTok drama. Yeah.
There was one. So there's something about JoJo Siwa going on young lesbian TikTok.
I've got a group chat I can add you both to if you're interested.
Please, because I tried to dig through this one. I did not understand it
I can't recap it for you
because it happened in a comment section. And finding a comment section is a lot harder than finding a TikTok. And finding a TikTok is hard enough, like searching through the hashtags and stuff. So I had a hard time locating that one. I would love to know the background.
It's some great drama. It's good drama because it's good drama to be observing because there are large characters in it, like JoJo, and then there are also smaller characters in it. And I like some variance in my drama because it makes it more accessible. Some people have more access. You know, a lot of people aren't as quiet as in other dramas. The Don't Worry, Darling, I consumed like it was air. I mean, I
rejected it.
Oh, I loved it.
It didn't work for me. I didn't know what it was, but it was just like, it just took over the whole. I don't think the movie's going to be that. I mean, it's out, right? I haven't seen it.
It's out, yeah.
I read the screenplay. It was a flight. And I just read it, and it was not.
How do you have the screenplay?
I just was on Reddit.
Oh, okay.
I was on Reddit and somebody posted it and I read it. Ha ha ha. And I was like, this doesn't sound all that good. Felt like the big twist was like, duh, you know?
Okay.
But anyway, it just felt like a lot of drama about a movie that I was like, I don't care.
What's the last twist you guys have seen or heard that really got you? Don't, I guess, tell me the twist. Just tell me because I'm really in the mood for twists. That's my thing in October. I don't decorate that much. I don't particularly care for the flavor of pumpkin, although I will indulge. You know, if someone's serving it, I'm going to eat it. But it's not like something I seek out. But I do feel like this is the time when I love a good twist. I like being a little freaked out. I like some tension, and I like some turns.
Not spooky. I think my last twist was The Good Place. It's not spooky, but it's a good twist. It's
the Heaven show?
Two good twists.
It is a good twist.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple good twists. That show is so good. Underrated good. And maybe it's properly rated, but I feel like people stopped talking about it pretty quickly. It's like well written, very well written.
Okay. I never watched it.
You should watch it. I think you'd like it. There's a good twist. But I'm also scanning my brain for scary twists. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't watch spooky nothing. So
I don't think it necessarily has to be scary. It's just like in Don't Worry, Darling, that would be considered a thriller.
I think. Right? Yeah, because there's blood and stuff.
It's a thriller?
I think.
Isn't it?
I seem to have avoided everything about this movie. I couldn't have told you it was a thriller. I don't know.
I don't know that it's. I bet there's a sub thriller, like not psycho,
suspenseful.
It's almost like a like drama, a suspenseful drama, maybe.
I'll read the plot summary on.
If anybody's like a film buff watching this, they're going to be like, "You are idiots." It's clearly a neoclassical, whatever.
Throw neo on the beginning of something, and people are like, "This guy's an asshole."
Exactly. I recently read yesterday, 2 days ago. My depression had me reading the Wikipedia of scary movies that I knew I wasn't going to see.
I've been there.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
That Smile movie sounds like it's going to freak a lot of you out. I won't be seeing it, but now that I know what it is, woof.
Now that I'm no longer 14 and want to go to the movie theaters with people on dates, I don't see scary movies.
Yeah.
That just is what it fulfilled for me. I'm not saying that that's its only purpose. That was just really the only way that I
only go for the male gaze, which is a crazy thing to say, but whatever.
I did kind of say.
So I do have a question though about.
Okay, Harry, what is it?
Why are people going to movies as a date or like a first date? What a horrible way to get to know.
Well, you don't want to talk. Well, you don't want to.
As a teenager,
yeah.
Let me tell you a little something about where the fuck I grew up.
Yeah, you knew the people you were going on dates with.
The movie theater was 45 minutes away. So it was a very special thing. Also, the other option for a date where I grew up was to go to the Walmart parking lot, which was 35 minutes away.
That sounds cool to me.
Okay. Well, thanks for... I honestly don't have the brain power for it because they were at a cold brew, and so I just had to have a normal iced coffee.
Yeah.
Whoa. But you are fetishizing.
Thoughts and prayers.
You're right. I am.
Indiana upbringing.
when you were a kid, you didn't need to get to know each other. You could do that at lunch. You just needed.
You
place
already
that
knew
was dark where
everything
your
about
parents-
each other.
Yeah, where your parents weren't.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the town I grew up in, 1,200 people. I knew everything about everyone. I knew everything about their cousins, their cousins, their parents, their step-parents, their
Have you since deleted that
grandparents.
information, cleared that space, or do you still?
It's funny because I'll talk to my friend Morgan, my friends Morgan and Kent, who are also from there, and she'll say something like, remember this person? And I'll be like, I do remember this person, but I didn't know that I remembered that person until
That's fair.
I was
Until
reminded.
they triggered it for you. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Some lovely people there.
Mm.
Some. Anyway, that's why we were going on dates
but
past high school, yes, I agree. Okay.
I'm more like you're
Well,
just
no,
trying
but
to
see,
get
then it
angry
comes
and I
back
wanna
around
get
again.
angry.
Then when you've been married and you know somebody for so long, then you're like, what can we do where we don't have to talk to each other?
Right.
Go to the movies. It works on both ends, the early dating and the late dating spectrum.
Louisville has a $5 movie special.
Still? That's
Every
crazy.
Tuesday. Every Tuesday. That's where you'll find me. Maybe I should do that.
I just think like two of the scariest things I could do in front of like a potential romantic partner would be like sit in silence and digest. Like both of those things. So the idea of like dinner and a movie is like the most scary thing in the world.
Wait, you mean like literally digest or like mentally digest?
No, he means
No, I mean
literally.
like, I have IBS. I'm like,
No, that's
so
true. My stomach makes
so
crazy noises after I eat stuff. It's like,
Right.
like no matter what, my stomach is making noises.
I don't think anybody. If somebody's judging you for stomach making noises, that's wild.
No, you're right.
Just
Well, it's a
wild.
loud movie, but it's all you can think about. And you're already uncomfortable,
course,
and
yes,
it's a
of
first
course.
date. And no, I
Yes, of
agree.
course.
What's your guys' like go-to first date?
I don't know. It used to be drinks, and then I started, dating a guy who doesn't drink. So then I guess dinner.
Mm-hmm.
One-sided drinks. I drink, you watch.
Well, but I mean, you're not. It's not a
It
not
ain't my
first date
problem.
anymore. Yeah,
Could be. Yet, I guess.
yeah. Could be my problem in the future.
Are you a cool first date? Because I'm with you, Katie. My first date is like a bar near one of our houses. or
Somewhere where
whatever.
there's a
Somewhere
lot
in
of
the middle,
people.
Yeah.
It's it has to depend on who the person is. Do you know them? Do you know anything about them? Because if you don't know anything about them, it's like an online offline date. You've met the person online, you haven't met the person yet. Or if it's like a friend of a friend and you don't really have any background information on them, I think you need a date with an escape plan.
I think I do that for every date. Maybe that speaks more to me than the world. But I feel like
Your
I always
boyfriend
have an
of
escape
literally
plan.
2-3 years.
Dan is not allowed to take me to a second location, and I've let him know that. I have let him know that.
Yeah.
Sports?
Sierra,
Are we
what about
supposed to
you?
be talking about sports, or does it not matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
No,
Sick.
it doesn't matter.
I'm eating candy corn.
Oh,
Ew.
yeah. Whoa.
My
I'm with
stomach's...
you, Katie.
You know how much? Look at the ingredients.
I can't.
What's
It's in
it-
my mom's... This pumpkin
It's
on
like,
the table.
is it carnauba wax? What's the name of that wax?
Carnauba.
That's what you're eating.
That
in
sounds
case
good
you
for
were-
you. I'm not
It
even
does?
joking. Carnauba wax?
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Actually, don't
Could
don't
be
use
like
my
it's
pronunciation on that.
something wax. I wish I didn't say it. I wish I let somebody else.
It sounds
say
like something that's going to gather up all the food, hold it together. Like we're all going
it really holds it
to the
down.
same place. Yeah, exactly.
What is candy corn?
Carnauba, Carnauba.
Digestion
Yeah,
top.
I had an
Okay,
amazing
okay.
massage. They had this little carnauba wax part. It was, yeah. Doesn't that sound like that could be part of it?
It kind of does.
The flavor is based
Last
on
night-
honey, sugar, butter, vanilla. Okay.
I made fancy scallion ramen. The day
Okay.
before, I made ragu.
Whoa.
The day before, I made a different kind of pasta that had sausage and this like butternut squash.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been really trying to like be intentional about making every single meal. For no reason. I'm just
So I was
trying
gonna
to
say why.
No, absolutely no reason.
Okay.
But yeah, I just felt like I should share that since I'm eating wax and felt the judgment.
Eating wax.
I've been doing good things too, guys.
Do you have
Sierra, last night's dinner was vegan.
What was
Wait,
it?
is miso vegan?
Yes.
Okay, then yes, it was.
Delicious.
I guess I don't
Just
really know
soy?
what miso is.
Yeah, it's soy. Yeah, I every time for a long time I used to have to look up if miso was vegan. It doesn't sound vegan.
Doesn't seem vegan.
It's tasty.
Very tasty. Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite Halloween candy?
Reese's pumpkins.
Yeah, that's
Reese's
good.
Pieces.
That's good.
Or
But
not
like, how
Reese's
many are you
Pieces,
gonna fucking
Reese's.
E
eat?
A lot,
Okay.
Haley. A lot.
Interesting.
They also make them now in like variety of shapes. So you can get a bag that's got pumpkins, bats, and ghosts.
Oh.
It's just that ratio I'm looking for. That peanut butter to chocolate ratio is correct in my book.
I like
a
the
little
plain old
Twix.
Hershey's.
Little Twix. Little Twix rule.
Yeah. I was a Halloween candy like fiend before I went vegan. So honestly, one of the best things I've done for like my teeth and overall health was
Yeah.
being vegan.
Not eating
vegan.
candy.
Not eating. Yeah. It was like uncontrollable amounts of candy.
Is it because there's, what is it, eggs and milk? All of it.
Usually
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
And then for like gummies, a lot of times it's gelatin.
I'm shocked by how much egg is in candy. Like
Egg
Chewy
is in everything.
Sprees have eggs in it. I'm like, what?
It is
Why?
crazy. You
Yeah,
look at the
it's
ingredients, like
wild.
90% of stuff has eggs in it. And I'm like, what's
Crazy.
the egg doing here? What's the egg
Tying it all
giving
together,
to
I
us?
think, is the
Eggs
point.
could be
but
could be using wax.
Yeah, could be using wax.
There's
I'll
egg
chew
in
on some
candy
wax.
corn.
Yeah,
Is there?
there is. Candy corn's
Yeah.
not vegan either.
That's really weird.
So you're really weird.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like I love it though. It's
just there. I get
it's
that.
Just there. Yeah.
It's just their candy is M&Ms. I like to keep a bowl of M&Ms. So you can just drive by, pop a couple in your mouth and be like, cool, I had a candy. It's just there.
M&Ms to me are too tempting as it's just their candy
Yeah,
because
fair.
I really need it to be like bottom tier. Like you're not really it's just when you absolutely need something to snack on, there's a bowl of it.
Okay,
But
Jordan almonds then. That's my house. Jordan
that's
almonds.
a great one because
it's-
you're not going to eat too many of those.
They're so loud and
Yeah.
you have to like really crack them in the back of your mouth, but they're so tasty. And you only
Yeah.
ever eat them at weddings, which isn't fair, you know?
I remember the first time I had a Jordan almond as a kid being like, I don't think rich people really get what they're doing. Like, there's much better candy. This is always
Yeah, there's
portrayed
no
as the rich
chocolate.
people candy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
just candy
ratio's
on-
all off.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
fucking
crazy.
nut in here. It's not even
But
a
it's
good
delicious.
one. Yeah,
great.
I remember thinking like, I don't know. I think they've got it wrong. But now as an adult, I've come to appreciate Jordan almonds. I still
Just like an
associate them
almond
with
with
rich
some
people
sugar on it.
for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing we were thinking about talking about. Wait, actually, real quick, Sarah, I want to know what you do on a plane when there's no other
yeah.
option, and
Now
then
that
I
she
want
left.
to go to our official sports segment.
Okay. Sorry, I had to let my cat in. I have a very specific setup. I hate flying because I'm tall and my knees are always in the back of whatever seat I'm on and I can't afford to pay for upgrades. I have a very specific routine where I get on the flight. I'm probably, gummied up. I listen to music and I have one of those games on my phone where like you only get 5 lives and then like you have to wait a little bit for that like 20 minutes to get a new life. So, I get on my game, I rattle off like 15
What's
levels.
it called?
Homescapes.
Okay.
It's like one of those
I've
ones
seen
you'll
it. I've
see.
seen that one. I've seen that one. The
I'm on
ads
level
for it.
like 1200 of that one.
Sarah, is that the one with the grandma?
No, this is the one with like the butler.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been playing it for years, but rattle off like 15 levels of that. I've got my music playing. Lose all my lives. I've got to wait 20 minutes to get another life. So that's when I'm going into my camera roll. I'm nostalgic. I'm looking through my memories. Oh my God, remember what I was doing in 2017? What a crazy time. Oh my God, 20 minutes has passed. I have another life. Rinse and repeat.
Smart. Oh, I
Yeah,
get
it's like
that.
4.5 hours from Chicago
I do that
to
too because
California.
2 dots is lives dependent. Like you have
Yeah,
to.
but then they also have like if you go to the bottom, they have like the like journey that you can do,
Yeah,
and
no,
then
I've
they
been
have the
there.
like flip, and then it's like
Yeah.
they can keep you in the game, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
That game is all about tricking you into playing it for.
Yeah.
When I
7
do that
hours.
journey, like through your photos and through the years, the one thing that always hits me is like, 1, I've managed to get exponentially prettier over the years, and 2, it is a direct correlation to my eyebrows. Like, what was I doing? 8th grade, sophomore
Dude, whenever I look
year,
back at even
college.
celebrities during the 2000s, I'm like, you went out with your brows like that? You're the reason we overplucked? Why? You guys we could have been like this forever. Our brows were all crazy then.
And when you overpluck a fucking eyebrow, sometimes it doesn't come back.
Sure
Okay?
doesn't.
It's not like it just grows right back. Sometimes that patch is lost forever. So if you get overzealous, might be the end of your fucking eyebrows as you know
If you
it.
have ADD and you're medicated for it, do not ever pluck your eyebrows just after taking your medication. That is the best advice I can give to anybody. I have just made it so that they were like halfway, and I was like, no, I didn't mean to. Because you use a magnified mirror, and then when you zoom out, you're like, oh. It's a mess. So
I always
just
say
beware.
when you take your ADHD meds, you have to be doing whatever you need to be doing for that day. Because if you're on Twitter when those meds hit, you're going to be the world's best Twitter user that day.
Yep. Or
you're-
if you're
and
like,
you're not
if
gonna
you're
do
making a
anything
table
else.
for your research project in college, it's going to be the most color coordinated table in the world, but you're not going to write the corresponding essay you were supposed to write. So
Nope. Got to be doing what you're doing.
Isn't it funny when you have days on Twitter and you're like, man, I'm pretty funny today. And then you have other days and you're like, I've never had anything to say about a single thing. Like there's absolutely nothing I could say about truly anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been
I've
having
been
a lot
saving
of
to
days
drafts.
lately that are the latter. Yeah.
I have
let's
saved
go through our Twitter
everything.
drafts.
I mean, okay.
Okay.
The reason I save them is because I mean, again, in this job where I'm like representing Major League Baseball, I had no idea where the line was. So it was a very hard line to toe.
I can't wait
So
for
I
this. I was going to
saved.
ask you to tell a joke earlier you felt like you'd held off on in the booth.
I don't even know if I could remember.
Well, thank
Every week after finishing, I deleted everything and then filled it with another. Doing 2 different teams every week, you underestimate how hard that is. When you're like, oh, I got to know this team top to bottom, and then immediately don't need to know that anymore. And now I need to know these 2 teams top to bottom.
I've had too much candy corn.
You should.
I think
stop.
that makes sense. It's just it's too much. Yeah, I had a lot. I'm feeling pretty waxy. My first draft. Does freezing a slushie make it more or less slush?
Less.
But more.
What if it's really watery?
Well, if it's really watery, is it a slushie?
That's a good.
I
point.
guess I'd say it's probably like a curve, right? You know, you
Yeah,
start
it
really
depends on
watery,
where
and then
you
we get to
are
this
in the
kind of,
life
like,
of the
peak perfection, and then we're down into ice.
I remember this one. I meant to Google this, and I think I probably just saved it because I thought that was funny that I put it into Twitter. But I had got a slushie from Dairy Queen, and it was not adequately slushy. I remember thinking it was not enough slush. So I think I wanted to know, should I put it in the freezer? Can I change course for this slushie's life? But I ended up just, I think, sipping it on the ride home.
Why not get a blizzard? Like,
That particular day, I just didn't want the heaviness. The thing about some Dairy Queens is that they don't have non-dairy. And also most days I'm cool with dairy. But my body could not that day do dairy. Like it's just so much in a blizzard. Like there's so much ice cream that you are going to eat that day. And I just
yeah, that is true.
I just could not. Like some days my body can't. And it also can't with all the candy because I'm not going to go halfway. I'm not going to do half measures.
That's one of the problems I have. I live in Brooklyn, and there's a lot of like designer ice cream around, you know. And the problem with all the really good ice cream is that the percentage of milk in that stuff must be higher than Ben and Jerry's. Like
Oh,
it is
100%.
like it's like eating truffle, but of ice cream. Like I can't
Whole
do.
milk.
Yeah,
That's a fun comparison.
Thank you.
Comparison.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do it.
Katie, what's your first Twitter draft?
I'm looking through them. Here's a real banger. Can't get enough of this kid on TikTok who reviews colognes by calling them good.
I've seen
This
that
kid
guy.
who just goes, This one's like, oh, it's good. It's very, very good. And I think he's being dead serious. I think it's just he thinks he's thinking of a word, and that word is always good. And I just find that very interesting. I also have, am I hallucinating, or are crew chiefs of baseball games allowed to have a full cheek of dip? And I think the answer is yes. I think it was a crew chief. And that's, to clarify, the guy who does all the talking had a full cheek. I didn't think that was allowed, but I guess that it is.
If a general rule of thumb, I'll say, just knowing from secondhand experience, being in the presence of many people, if you think at any point somebody's got dip in their mouth, they have dip in their mouth. You just see an unusual budge, and you're like, what could that? It's that. That's the bulge. Yeah.
I'm still scrolling.
I only have one more right now in my drafts, and it says, who leads to hollering my guy in all caps? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Bro? Question mark.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
Is
that in response to something, or?
That was just it? No, that was just the one. Yep.
Yeah. I have never been good at Twitter. I can't figure it out. I'm every time I'm in the lab and I'm like, this is a home run. Like, I'm like, this is a banger. And I tweet it. And like 4 guys I went to high school with like it. I'm like so pissed every time. I can't figure it out. Yeah.
Harry, I think you have good retweets though. Often you're retweeting good stuff onto my timeline.
You're an aggregator.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Also, the Spinsters account has tweet notifications for,
Right,
Harry,
you
Haley,
probably
Jordan.
see my tweets.
So I see all of your guys' tweets.
Okay, good.
I'm getting all of it.
Here's my last one that I still think is hilarious, but knew would just invite more drama into my life than I was ready for. My boyfriend's birthday is June 24th, and something pretty momentous happened on June 24th of this year regarding women and the Supreme Court. And so I woke up, saw that news, and was like, I'm still supposed to wish my boyfriend a happy birthday today. I don't want to. And so it says, happy birthday, Dan Soder. I got you a vasectomy.
That's amazing.
I know, but
that
I
was a
didn't
good
tweet
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I just
inviting
didn't
too
want
many
to. I didn't
people,
want to
though.
hear
It's inviting
about
too
it.
many people.
I was
You're
not
gonna
in
get
the
a
mood.
bunch of people who from all directions who just don't understand it. I
We're
think
like, how
that's the
dare
most
you
infuriating
force
thing.
you're like, it's a joke. It's just a joke. It's a funny joke, and let's all just move on from it.
No, that's the thing I don't like the most, is when people just don't understand you're joking.
And then
Like,
they
one
insist,
time-
like, well, every joke comes from somewhere, and you must really feel. And you're like, you're so deep. You're so deep in my joke that it's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you a vasectomy.
Every joke just comes from the part of my brain that makes funny stuff. That's,
Yeah.
Right? Like,
There's
just
nothing
leave
else
me
to it.
alone. Right. Chill out. You're the one with problems. You need to go see a therapist. Here's another tweet. I don't know whose team the pharmacist at the Hoboken CVS is on, but she ain't on mine.
Hell yeah. Fuck her.
I think that's pretty much it. Those are all the good ones.
Isn't it weird that your pharmacist knows so much about you?
Yeah, and they're never nice. My pharmacist always acts like it's the first time they've ever seen me. And I'm like, dude,
Girl.
I'm in here beginning every month getting the same medications every single month.
And you also see the medications I'm on.
Right?
Don't you think
So you know what I'm going through.
With gentle care?
You know what I'm going through. You know it's difficult for me to even get myself here. So I'm here. Let's play some music.
I
Celebrate,
don't know, man.
dance
I
together.
always have good pharmacists, but I also am team Walgreens. So
Yeah,
different corporation.
It's I think I'm Walgreens now, or I went to a different CVS. There's just this one guy at that CVS that but then I guess that day there was one lady too. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I've had bad CVS. Mine is CVS too, and they're always like being like, you can get this delivered. And I'm always down, and then I click on the link, and then my phone crashes. Like it's
My thing when it says you can
100%
have
of the
this
time.
delivered, it says like actually these ones don't qualify. I'm like, then why did you write you can have this delivered? That doesn't. I don't.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also have like prescriptions for like amoxicillin from 2011 that I can like somehow still get. And so I always need to tell the person like that it's not any of the other weird drugs that I have in my rotation. It's just the one
In my rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like you shouldn't be able to access something after 2 years.
That's
All right, well, let's pull up our... Ooh, I have a voicemail from New York.
Okay.
Katie.
I'm disappointed by my own drafts, honestly.
Okay, well, everyone go on your internet and go and tell me the last thing you've Googled. Mine is
How?
Noel Great British Baking Show worst sweater.
Where are you just going?
How?
I just clicked on my Chrome on my
Okay.
phone. And then if
on
I
your
click the
phone.
back button, I was looking up the lyrics to a Sturgill Simpson song. And if I click the back button, I was looking up the definition for a word that I should know that I'm not going to say out loud. And if I click the back button, I have airline fluid limit.
Do
that
you
is
just use
3.4
one tab?
ounces.
That's crazy.
You're nuts.
I don't like to blow up the tabs.
Once
Dude,
a
I have
month?
like 700 open tabs.
Well, I have that, and then I have multiple tabs, but this was a recent one. I mean, you have to understand,
Okay.
I just got back from LA
Okay.
for the first time I went the last month. But what I'm trying to say is I finally have edibles again. So last night was a journey for me. Last night was a movie. It was my own movie, and it was not fun for anyone except for me.
Mine are all low cost ways to cure sleep apnea because my boyfriend is annoying when he sleeps.
Oh God, but
Baseball articles, and then random I'll go to like websites that sell clothes and I will put stuff in my cart and then I will be like, I'll close that out later, I'll buy that later, like I don't really need it, I'm gonna think about it a little more, and then that tab just stays open with a pair of jeans in my cart.
and then once they're sold out, you're like, I need it.
Oh, I just missed it. Oh, I should have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah.
Chrome on my phone stops counting my tabs open and it just shows a little smiley face because I will have so many tabs open.
That's very funny.
And then once a month I go and I close them all. I just did it maybe 2 days ago. I already have 8 tabs open, and they're all
What's
all
on
gonna.
the 8 tabs?
What is on the
Share.
8 tabs? We've got one tab is NBA games today Google search.
Okay. Sports
Another
girl.
tab is NBA Today
Spice.
Google search from 2
Okay.
different days. Vaccine appointments,
Okay.
fever
Responsible.
symptoms.
Oh,
Sick.
scary.
Those seem
Yeah.
related.
Correlation.
And then I have 3 from this morning. Cuisinart kettle not working. Cuisinart electric kettle buttons not working. Cuisinart kettle won't turn on.
Did you get to the bottom of it?
Women in tech.
It just started working eventually. So
Hell yeah.
Oh, love to see women in STEM.
yeah, I kind of just engineered it to work
Sick.
on its own. So
We're so proud of you.
yeah, but all my tabs it's always just like NBA games today, WNBA games
Yeah,
today.
mine are like MLB standings, NL
Yeah.
East standings.
yeah.
Yeah, at least no, I always throughout the season, like the amount of times a week I type in NBA conference standings just to see, and then you're like,
Or
okay,
like
and then you
whoever
forget
you're
about it forever.
whoever you're covering, it's like blah 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 schedule. So it's like Tampa Bay Rays schedule, so I can be like, okay, who are the last people they played and the next people they're gonna play.
You know
that's
something
mostly
I
it.
like that I'll Google as a shortcut a lot for injuries because it always seems to be updated faster than the other ones is if you do like the team and then depth chart and it's an ESPN link. So like go on any
yeah.
team right now, like you could do like Warriors depth chart and maybe it won't now because it's the off season, but it'll have like an out or like give their status or whatever. And it's an easier, for me, it's like always the quickest way to tell who's going to be playing that night. So when I'm betting in the morning,
Oh yeah.
I'm hitting up a lot of depth charts. Yeah. So that's a frequent
This is great.
frequent thing too. I wonder if
good
I'll gamble
advice.
this
There
season.
are people on the Warriors. I forgot they joined the team this year.
Well,
We,
there's still time for them. To
I don't even remember what a
Dante
basketball looks
DiVincenzo.
like. Oh,
Welcome to the Bay Area.
welcome to the
Welcome to the
team.
Bay Area.
Yeah.
I use
to what?
Google for spell check. It's like I'll just spell a word kind of wrong.
Yep.
Throw it into Google.
I do that anytime I tweet. That's why I'm always fascinated when I see people tweet stuff that's like, what? You don't check before
You don't
send
check?
it?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
check. It takes 2 seconds. You'll get the answer and you won't look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Just check.
Yeah.
I check words that I'm like, I should definitely know this. I just want to make sure. You know?
I have a really hard time with the word physical.
Interesting.
I have a really hard time with the word receiver.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's fair.
I used to have a hard time with the word restaurant until I saw Patrice O'Neal's Elephant in the Room special, and then I thought it was so funny that I remembered how to spell restaurant.
That's a perfectly good reason. I think that's
Yeah.
many people's reason.
Yeah. But there's some that I just always spell wrong, and I know now that spell check has got my back. I think what's especially frightening is when the spell check has no idea what the fuck you're trying
get
to
the
do.
What are you even going for?
They don't see the
where are
vision
you
at
trying
all.
to go?
Yeah.
Really alone in the world.
Yeah, that's a
Really
lonely
isolating.
feeling, okay? Yeah. Especially when it's like something like not that hard, like Severance. You're like,
And you're
what
like,
do you
but I
mean?"
thought I was pretty close. How do you not?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty lonely feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Did
how
you
I
guys-
said the words I struggle to spell, and then that's where it ended. That's where the vulnerability ended for that segment.
I spell everything right, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you see this thing on Twitter today that it says the highest paid mascot in the NBA makes $625,000 a year?
Can we
saw
guess who
that.
it is?
Yeah.
Well, I know who it is, but you can
Okay.
guess.
Oh.
You can guess.
I think
NBA or sports? across
NBA.
sports?
It's blank mascot, and then the name is the highest paid mascot in the NBA with a $625,000 annual salary.
Okay,
this
I have it.
reeks
But-
of like probable misinformation for me. Anytime I see something like this, I'm like, this seems a lot like the diet things where they're like, eating a French fry a day will take a
Yeah, drinking
take
red
days off your
wine
life.
is good
There's
for
no like
you now.
that's none
Yeah.
of those are real. Like you know,
This-
none of those things are real. And the studies, like when you click on them, often do not say things like that at all. It's just like a weird. You can't sum some things up. Quite
But this
like
is
that.
money, and you can sum that up,
Yeah.
I think.
I know
It
it just
says-
feels fake.
This mascot makes 10 times the average salary of an NBA mascot, which
Is there
I can't
one-
even really wrap my head around that much.
Is it
money.
one guy playing the same mascot? Because sometimes a lot of these places have like mascot shifts.
I don't know. It
Or
just
they
says
used to. There used to be multiple Wallies. I know that.
Yeah, it just says.
Haley, you're like it's the Benny the Bull, but he's wearing like a NSA or like CIA jacket.
Was that who it is? Is it Benny the Bull?
No,
I
which
feel
you
like
would
there's
think,
only
'cause
one
Benny the
Gritty.
Bull-
I
There's
think
only
it's
one Gritty.
it's Memphis. It's the Memphis one.
Is it the King Cake Baby? Because that would be the one I pay, just so it would leave me the F alone.
Yeah, it's all lawsuit money.
What about
No,
the
it's-
Spurs? The Spurs one? No,
I feel like you would never guess it. I don't ever hear about this mascot.
it's. Is it the?
I mean, Lucky's an actual human being with a rent to pay, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it's true.
the Denver Nuggets mascot, Rocky.
What?
There's no way. I actually.
Isn't that the one that passed out from the ceiling? Are we not supposed to talk about that?
I don't
think
know.
so. No,
I don't
remember?
Oh my god, it was so scary.
No. What?
Yeah, let me look it
Yeah,
up.
he like he was like
Yeah, it's
stabbing
the
him in
Denver Nuggets
tabs.
mascot. It absolutely is him. So I
Yeah.
bet that's like,
So
I bet
maybe
that's like covering.
Hush
It's like
money.
it's hush money,
comp,
exactly.
They're like,
Look
"You
up
just do
Denver
such a
Nuggets
good
mascot.
job."
Appears unconscious.
If I Google
it's so scary.
Nuggets mascot, the first thing
Yeah.
that pops up is Nuggets mascot passed out.
Yeah, dude. I just remember watching that, being like, "Damn, he is not with
That
us."
is scary. Okay, this
that
was
is
in
scary.
2013. That makes sense. I
Yeah,
don't
it
remember
wasn't
this,
recent. It wasn't
but
recent.
That is
I was at a
Thoughts and prayers to Rocky.
so upsetting.
an event.
Yeah.
I was at an event when I was probably like 13, where the Giants mascot Lucille was attacked by children.
What?
Oh,
Like tackled to the ground and attacked by children. It was so funny.
I
It was
love
at-
Lucille.
Yeah,
So
it was
cute.
cool, yeah. I was at a Maccabi Games, which is like the Jewish Youth Olympics.
I've been saying Maccabee like a real jerk,
no,
huh?
No, that can work too. I think it's like
Okay,
a
thank you.
coastal, whatever coast you're from. And he was there to kind of hype up the kids, and like some kind of like mass hysteria event happened, and like 40 children started chasing him and like tackled him and were like pinning him to the ground, and he like freaked out.
Yeah, I
Damn.
would freak out.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think
mean,
is
I
the
would,
best sport to be a mascot for? Let's go like top 4 sports.
Anything indoors with climate control.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Hockey.
That's a good point.
Hockey.
they
But I
have
do feel like the thing about
You guys
basketball
skate.
mascots is like when you've got bats in your stadium, you're in charge of catching them, and I'm not into
Yeah.
that. That's a weird job to delegate to a person who doesn't even get to use their real eyes. They have to look through eye holes.
And do what?
Catch bats.
The mascots catch bats?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen the
like
San
Spurs
Antonio?
mascot?
They have like a bunch of bats because they have that like migratory event or whatever that happens in those caves.
What?
Yeah, so
And-
they get a bunch of bats in their stadium, and the is he a coyote?
He is a coyote.
Yeah, he catches them. One time he did it while he was wearing a Batman outfit, which was crazy. And he's good at it, but
Is
it's
this
also
like part of the show? Because this doesn't feel like it
No.
should be in his job.
Remember,
that's what I
think it was
feel
like
like.
Manu Ginobili like swatted one out of midair and killed
I
it.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
same
was so-
same vein.
That was staged.
yeah.
What?
The bat was a paid actor. It was a
But-
D state. Yeah.
What if it was?
I don't know.
Oh, I've already done a conspiracy theory about the bats that
Uh,
San Antonio just releases them to try to shift the momentum of a game.
That's funny.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
People are scared
we
of
did a deep
bats.
dive. I would be scared of bats.
Yeah.
If they bite you, you could get rabies, right?
They're
Isn't that
little
their whole
freaks.
thing?
Or
Yeah,
maybe-
they're little freaks sleeping
Bats
upside
yeah,
down.
bats are harmless. Bats are harmless.
Yeah. I'm
All right.
pro bat, but I understand the fear.
Yeah.
They fly.
I'm pro bat. I just don't want it near me. I can do
I was
that.
right.
I'm allowed that.
I literally had one right here. I didn't know it was there in a cenote a couple months ago in Mexico, and I just turned and looked at it, and it didn't turn and look at me. That would have really fucking ended everything, but I just screamed and went underwater. It was scary, I'll admit.
Okay.
Damn. I think being a baseball mascot would be cool because you have so much time to move between, and a lot of times they'll go behind the backstop and they'll like try to distract the pitcher. I think that's fun.
I'd want to be a baseball. Yeah, well, do they ever get hit? Because that's also something I would never want to get hit.
Why would they get hit? Like by people or like you
No,
mean by
by
the
like
ball?
a bat or the ball or,
I'm sure it has happened. I don't think it's like a common fear
okay.
for them.
I guess you do technically have a little bit of padding. I think football could be fun, but it also could be very unfun. Soccer, I think, could be a good time depending on what team and what climate.
Another, element of this that I think we need to consider, which I don't think plays in baseball's favor, is amount of work days you have.
Yeah.
Yep, good point.
Your
All right,
football,
fair.
you work
Fair,
8 days
fair.
a year.
Yeah, but if you're getting paid per day,
Right. Then it's
then
bad.
it's actually does work in your favor.
But
Absolutely.
now we have like social media, so these mascots are doing like TikTok videos on their days off and stuff.
All
so I
the
bet
time.
a football mascot
Yeah.
could fill those
Being
billable
gritty
hours.
appears to be a full-time job, and
Yeah.
he does such a good job of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like
Did
to
you know
think that's one
did you know
person.
did you know he's a hottie?
What?
Gritty is hot?
Don't please, I can't be told that the person who is
That's what I said.
hot.
That's what I said
I'll
when I
bite.
became when
Send me
I
a
figured
picture.
when I received that information with mine own eyes. I was like, I can't know this. I can't know this. I don't want to know this.
What's his name?
What?
How do I find him?
I don't remember. I don't remember his name.
Googling man inside Gritty doesn't
I went with gritty mascot hot guy.
He's a super nice guy. He's also young, probably too young for me to be out here calling him hot in the streets. I just want to let everybody know that it's a pretty attractive man.
This is
Harry,
gonna
did you
shatter
find
my
him?
world right now.
Oh wait.
I don't think it's like public knowledge who he is.
Oh, this is an inside. Okay.
I did stuff with Gritty, and at one point, he's got to take the face off, right?
Yeah. Oh my god,
we
I
all
see. Updated, is the person inside the gritty suit hot? An investigation.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I find here.
I think he is.
I spoke with
I don't know
19
why that, like,
people who
really-
met him in person.
Made my day.
Most
What'd they
agreed.
say? Most agreed.
No,
Most
just
agreed,
the thought
the
that
person
he would
inside
be.
Gritty's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Well, should we end it there?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Chris Long, Greenlight Pod. Check us out. We do mostly football, but we talk to anybody interesting. We talk about anything interesting.